Welcome to the chemistry class, children. I hope all are safe and enjoying in your homes. Bible verse says, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, on all these things will be added to you." Matthew 6:33. 7th Standard ICSE Chapter 4, The Language of Chemistry. Children, in our last video session, we have completed our chapter 3. So in today's class, we are going to start up with new chapter, chapter 4. The name of this chapter is The Language of Chemistry. This is the session 7 video. Before going into the new chapter, let us recap what we have learned in our previous chapter. In our previous class, we learned about what is meant by radicals, the difference between atoms, molecules and radicals. Then what is periodic table? So in periodic table, the elements will be arranged according to their property. And then we have seen what is valency. Valency means the electron present in the outermost shell of an atom. Then we have seen the few important features of periodic table, and at last we have seen the valencies of first 20 elements in periodic table. I hope you all remember all these topics. Let us start up today's video session with new chapter, chapter 4. Introduction. Children, we all know different languages, right? In our India itself, we speak different languages. In our north side, they will be speaking Hindi. We used to speak Tamil, English, and in our south side, they will be speaking Malayalam, Urdu, Telugu, all those things they will be speaking, right? There are different languages in our country. Similarly, we are going to learn the chemistry language. So the first chapter name is the language of chemistry. Now you may have a question that how the language of chemistry will be. It is nothing but the language of chemistry will be made of symbols and formulas. So they are represented by symbols and formulas. This language, before going into class, let us see what are the topics we will be learning in today's video session. We will be learning about chemical reaction, making chemical equation more informative, atoms arrange themselves during a chemical change. So under these topics we will be discussing in this video. This language of chemistry was found by the scientist J.J. Brazillus. So here you can see the picture of him. So he is the one who was the founder of chemistry language. And this chemistry language was represented by symbols and formulas. I have already told you, right? So here you can see the formulas, symbols for chemistry. For each chemical compound, it has a symbol and formula. Chemical reaction. So we all know that everything that we see around us undergoes some kind of chemical reaction. So chemistry is nothing but the science of substance and transformation. So in chemistry we will be learning about substance and transformation. Transformation means change of this substance. For example, when we burn a paper, it will be converted into paper to ashes. So there is some change, right? There is a chemical reaction as well as there is a change. So there is a change of substance. So on learning all those things, we use chemistry. So chemical reaction means we will be having two things. One is reactant, another is product. So usually this reactant will be written on our left hand side and this product will be written on our right hand side. The starting substance is said to be reactant and the end up substance is said to be product. So the substance which we take for reaction is said to be reactant, and the substance which is formed from the reactant is said to be product. So with, for example, you are burning a paper. So paper is a reactant. So when we burn and we get ashes, right, and those ashes are said to be product. So in a chemical reaction, the reactant is a substance that changes to another substance is called product. So I repeat, in a chemical reaction, reactant changes from one substance to another substance is called product. So here you can see the examples of chemical reaction. This is how we will be writing the chemical reactions. So here you can see the chemical reaction H2 plus O2. Arrow mark H2O. So it means the reactants are written on the left hand side, and in the middle there is an arrow mark, and the product is written on the right hand side. So they are written using symbols. If the reaction is written using words, example sodium plus chlorine gives sodium chloride. So here there is no symbols or formulas is used in this chemical reaction. Then such type of reaction is said to be word equation. So word equation means they use only words to represent the chemical reaction. So in chemical reaction there will be two or more reactants. So here you can see, right, there are two reactants present in both the equations. So sodium and chlorine is an reactant. Here copper and sulfur is an reactant. So in a chemical reaction there will be two or more reactants. It is according to the chemical reaction. Children, the next topic that we are going to see is about decomposition reaction. So decomposition reaction means nothing but a bigger substance will be broken up into small substance. So there will be a single substance that will be broken up into smaller substance. Such type of reaction is said to be decomposition reaction. I have given two examples for decomposition reaction. First one is hydrogen peroxide. So it is a single reactant. It forms two different products, right? So one reactant forms two products, that is water and oxygen. The second example is limestone. It forms quicklime plus carbon dioxide. So these both two equations are said to be decomposition reaction because one substance is broken up into two different products. So these are the examples for decomposition reaction. So in this reaction you have one reactant and two products. I hope you all understood what is decomposition reaction. Next, let us see making a chemical equation more informative. So we all know how to write a chemical equation. So we have to first write the reactants, and then we have to put the arrow mark, and then we have to write the product. Now let us see how to make this chemical equation more informative. What are the things we can add on to this chemical equation? That is what we are going to see then in the next topic. So there are three things we can add up in a chemical equation. First one is mentioning the condition. So now you may have a question, what condition we are going to mention in a chemical equation. It is nothing but the temperature and pressure, that is the atmosphere. So while writing a chemical equation, we can mention the temperature and atmosphere of the reaction. So at what temperature the chemical reaction is taking place, that temperature, and also the atmospheric pressure, how much at how atmospheric pressure the temperature is taken place, we can mention those information or those condition in the above or below of the arrow mark. So this is the first thing. So here you can see the chemical equation A plus B. It is an reactant, it forms C plus D. So here the condition is mentioned above and below of the arrow marker. So we can also, along with temperature and atmosphere, we can also add catalyst. So first let me tell you what is catalyst. It is nothing but it will speeds up the chemical reaction. For example, so here you can see the example which I have given. Hydrogen peroxide. Here the catalyst used is manganese dioxide. So it is a catalyst. So the work of this catalyst is it will just speeds up the reaction and it forms water plus oxygen. So here you can observe that this manganese dioxide does not react with hydrogen peroxide and it forms manganese etc. But it just speeds up the reaction. If hydrogen peroxide, it react and forms water and oxygen at the time of 10 minutes. If we add this catalyst, then the reaction will take place in so fast manner and the reaction will be completed within 1 minute. So this is why we use catalyst. So we use catalyst in order to speed up the reaction. So the work of catalyst is it will not involve in the reaction but it will just speed up the rate of reaction. The second information that we can add up in a chemical equation is mentioning the colors and states of reactant and product. So we can mention the color and state of reactant and product. We can just mention whether they are in solid, liquid or gaseous form, that is states of reactant and product, and color. What is the color of the reactant and product? So here I have given an example. Copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate, which is in blue crystalline in color. So blue is the color and crystalline is the solid, right? So blue crystalline. So here they have mentioned the color and state below the reactant name. Okay. So the temperature here given is written above the arrow mark 200 degree Celsius. So at 200 degree Celsius it forms copper 2 sulfate, which is an white powder. So here also white color is mentioned below the product formed, plus water, which is in vapor state. So here in this chemical reaction itself you can observe the color and state of each reactants and product is mentioned below the equation. So by this we can add on the information of reactant and product to the chemical equation. The third information that we can add up in a chemical reaction is indicating the gaseous product and a precipitate. So when the reactant, that is the product which is formed, is in gaseous or precipitate form, we can indicate it by using the symbol upward arrow for gas and downward arrow for precipitate. By mentioning these two symbols, we can identify whether the product formed is in gaseous form or whether it is in precipitate form. So by this we have seen three information. One is mentioning conditions like temperature, atmosphere and catalyst. Second one is mentioning the color and state of reactant and product. And the third thing is indicating the gaseous and precipitate product by using the symbol upward and downward arrows. See is atoms rearrange themselves during a chemical change. So in a chemical change, the atom will get rearranged with other atoms and it forms the new product. So in here you can see the example carbon, there is one atom, so there is one ball. In oxygen there is two atoms, so two balls, so two red balls. Okay, so when they both reacts and they get rearranged and they form carbon dioxide. So I hope you all understood how the atoms are rearranged in a chemical reaction. So another example, we can see hydrogen and oxygen. The atoms in hydrogen and oxygen gets rearranged and they forms water molecule. H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Children, in today's video session, we have learnt few topics. They are what is chemical reaction. In that we have seen that chemistry is nothing but the science of substance and their transformation. Transformation means change of substance. So in a chemical reaction there will be a starting substance, we call it as reactant, and the ending substance we call it as product. So in a chemical reaction we write reactant on the left hand side and product on the right hand side, and in between there will be an arrow mark. And we have seen about decomposition reaction. In decomposition reaction the substance will break up and it forms the smaller substance. Then we have seen making chemical equation more informative. So here we have seen we can add condition like a temperature, atmosphere and catalyst, which is written above or below the arrow mark, and we can write the equation by mentioning the colors, states of reactant and product below the reactant and product, and also we can indicate whether the product formed is gas or precipitate by using upward and downward arrow. So at last we have learnt about atoms rearrange themselves during chemical change. So we have seen that when we burn hair, hydrogen forms in hair, it forms water, right? So they get the atoms in the reactant will rearrange themselves and it forms the product. So when number of atoms of each element will remain same both in reactant as well as in the product side. Children, I hope you all understood today's new chapter topics. The assignment for today's video session is you have to write short note on reactant and product, what is meant by decomposition reaction, how you will make a chemical reaction more informative. Children, learn the following questions. Meet you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.